recording it somewhere. Somebody who is a political enemy. You know, the technicians might be. I mean, it happened to John Major, that famous occasion, the bastards, you know, the three members of his cabinet who were bastards. It happened, I think, either before or after a studio interview. And he was chatting. And
it was just after. It was actually in Downing Street. It was just
was
after.
It? Yes, yeah. And somebody recorded it.
That's right.
And, you know, he obviously has been told, but, you know, he forgot his Prime Minister. He got other things to worry about, and these things happen.
Familiarity as well.
Right, okay, so ready when you are?
Yeah.
And recording.
Could I just ask what the first question is?
Yes, sure. I will simply ask you your response to what has happened.
Yeah, okay.
Recording.
Just what is your response to what has happened here?
That's right. I mean, the council has been accused of being ghoulish, and I want to say that what has happened was a genuine mistake. The system now is very much a computerised system. This shouldn't have happened. Obviously, there has been some human error in terms of the system, and we intend to put it right. We also intend to make a goodwill gesture to the family in order to put across our sincerity in terms of saying sorry at obviously what is an incredibly awkward time for them.
Aren't you worried that the council will be seen as an uncaring organisation, demanding a fiver back from a family who've just lost a loved one?
That's right. I mean, if you use emotive words like demanding, I think it can be portrayed in that way. The fact is, this was a computer error, and thousands upon thousands of payments go out every year accurately. And at the end of the day, we have an awful lot of ex-council employees out there who get an excellent service from the people who do provide pensions, and the pension provision of this council is very good. You know, there's a good news story here that has to be told, as well as obviously saying sorry when very occasionally things go wrong.
How can you make sure that this doesn't happen again?
Yeah. It seems to be a computer programming issue, and therefore the computer programmers that we employ full-time for this council need to look at the issue and to make sure that it just never happens again.
Thank you very much for coming into the studio.
Thanks, my pleasure.
Thank you. Will you nominate somebody else, or shall I come and pick somebody? Councillor Brown, you'll be aware of what's happened. Do you know how it happened?
Well, from what I understand, the fire brigade have told yourselves, and through the media we understand that it was candles that caused the fire. I also understand that the electric supply to the house had been cut off, and that's why candles were being used.
But this family was known to social services.
It would appear so, and clearly there's been a debt management problem which should have been resolved. This is not a third world country, and people shouldn't be using candles, especially a young mother with children. It's almost inevitable that this type of tragedy was going to happen.
Neighbours told me that your officials knew they were using candles.
Yeah, I have no evidence of that, and clearly if that is the case, then some of our staff will need to be reprimanded, because we can't have this type of what is an avoidable tragedy happening.
What sort of investigation will now be carried out?
Clearly we have to find out from the fire brigade the forensic evidence, prove that candles were the cause of the fire, and then obviously we have to check within the next day or two just how much information social services actually had on this family.
Thank you very much indeed.
Down, Brooke. Okay, rolling.
Should never have said.
Recording.
Well, let me try to ask you a question that is a yes or no answer. Yes. Is this an example of a caring council?
I think that what's happened today, if that was what you were judging the council on, the answer has to be no, it isn't. You know, this has been a disaster. Luckily, in the case of what has happened, this young gentleman is physically unharmed. We obviously apologise to his family, thank the police and the media who were involved with making sure this young man was found in time, and we have to make sure that it doesn't happen again, which means an investigation.
Are you happy with the procedures that are in place?
If the procedures that are in place had worked, this incident would never have happened. So clearly, no, I'm not, and we have to find a way to improve them so it does never happen again.
Are you aware that the local MP tonight has called for your resignation?
I'd heard that. I think this isn't the time to put blame onto any one individual. If it comes out in the investigation that the fault lies with me, then certainly I will resign.
Thank you very much indeed. Just what is your response to what's happened here?
Well, our immediate response, both personally and as an authority, is to express great concern, great sadness about the events that have taken place, and our determination to get to the bottom of what actually happened.
If it was known to your department, this family